Hello, friends. The purpose of this series of course is to reflect on and discuss my coaching experience as a CEO coach. I coach working professionals typically in CXO roles, 40 to 45 years old, or people who are aspiring to grow into that role. What are the typical kinds of professional or career challenges they face? How prevalent are these challenges? How are these senior professionals coaching with their challenges? The format of this series of videos will be my discussion on this topic with some very senior leaders who've been there and done that. My first guest is a very dear friend, a former colleague and accomplished professional, Arnab Banerjee, MD and CEO at Ceat Ltd. He is a product of IIT Kharagpur and IIM Calcutta. He has also done the advanced management program from Harvard Business School. Arnab has always excelled through his 37-year-long professional career. He has made significant contributions to Berger Paints, Marico, and now heads Ceat as MD and CEO. Arnab is also a travel, high-altitude trekking, and marathon running enthusiast. Good morning, Arnab.
Happy to be here, Ramesh.
Thanks for enabling this dialogue on a subject which is very important. I would now invite your views and perspectives on a few of the challenges that seem to be fairly common among CXOs. The first one is on professional growth. Arnab, in your experience, what are the typical challenges CXOs face in growing further in their organizations?
Yeah, at a personal level, Ramesh, as you know, we have all experienced this. We have this feeling of time is running out and how far and how fast should we be going. So it kind of builds a certain level of anxiety amongst the CXOs. And the pyramid also narrows gradually at the top. So they have a lot of doubts and dilemmas in their mind as to which path to take. Should I go for functional excellence? Should I go for general management excellence? Am I going to go for the CEO role directly or a CEO role directly? Or of late even, should I go out of the organization and continue in my direction of functional excellence, do something on my own? So these kind of doubts definitely I see coming up in the minds of the CXOs. Is my organization growing fast enough to give me the kind of growth that I aspire? That is also some of the people think about and articulate. So it's a testing time, and I've seen all this happening in people.
Wonderful. Thanks for those rich perspectives about the kind of growth challenges that these people are faced with. It appears that they would need to develop clarity on some of these challenges. Thanks for that, Arnab. So moving on, what's the importance of acquiring cross-functional competencies in these CXOs? They all risen, most of them would have risen as a functional leader. So how important is it to acquire competencies in at least one or two other functions so that they can stand a better chance of becoming a CEO?
Yeah, so first I think is the issue of growth and delivery for the organization. So from an organizational perspective, from my experience, and Ceat is a TQM-based organization, I think we absolutely don't want individual heroes. We want a large number of superbly functional teams. And these are cross-functional teams. So from the organizational perspective, cross-functional ability to work cross-functionally effectively and moving the needle forward is a key component of effective leadership, right? So when you juxtapose it with the individual anxiety about growth, so sometimes people compete with many of the colleagues who are in the CFTs, and therefore there is some kind of I would say maybe not reluctance, but ineffective or inefficient way of engagement in the top team, because I'm also trying to race ahead, as well as I need to work effectively with my colleague to take the organization forward. So that dilemma also I've seen, but it is a must that you should succeed cross-functionally.
So individual player versus team players,
yep.
and the balance between the two is what appears important. Going
yes,
by
I
what
think
you said.
more and more cross-functional is more important than individual play.
Right. So the next one, Arnab, is really, I notice in my coaching practice that many of these leaders, CXOs, are overly attached to praise and criticism. They're very happy, like all human beings are, when they get praise, and are negative about, they're defensive about being criticized or being pointed out their improvement areas. So how prevalent is this in your experience? And if this is true, what kind of a dysfunctional impact would it have on their behavior in a team setting or a professional setting?
Yeah, I think I would look at it again from a different lens, Ramesh. Both you and me, you and I, even now, I'm sure would like to hear good things about yourself. So that is a very natural human trait. Nothing wrong with it. The issue is with the supervisors or the managers not being able to give candid feedback to the people right from their early days, in the management trainee days. So they're used to getting sandwiched feedback, generally good feedback, one or two critical remarks sandwiched in between. So they come to have this kind of image about themselves that they're doing pretty well and they can do hardly anything wrong. So when there is a denial of a particular role as they hit middle or near top management, it comes as a very big shock or surprise. So it's not really an intrinsic nature of the employee, but how their managers treat them. And this is very prevalent in Indian management perspective. I have seen more people unable to give candid feedback, which is actually constructive, and thereby building a smoke screen of everything is good and nothing can happen wrong to you. A very paternalistic style of handling teams, if I may say so, which leads into this kind of sensitivity later on and disappointment later on in their careers.
What I'm taking out from what you said is that this whole ability to receive candid feedback from the early stages of their career is so important, so that it doesn't come as a shock later on in life. And second is the ability of the superiors to give candid feedback, and not just when a person has risen to a very senior level.
Yep.
Great. Thanks so much for that, Arnab. Okay, so with this we conclude the first part. So let's continue this conversation in the second part. Thank you. We'll come back.
Thank you. Thanks.